This is the UMiDiGI Z2 and it's currently my daily driver, but let me tell you why I will not be keeping this for long. So starting first with the build quality on the UMiDiGI Z2, this phone is fairly well built. It feels good in the hand. It is a little bit big. Well, let me qualify that by saying it's about the same size as other 6-inch 18:9 phones, which in my opinion is a little bit too big for my hand. But in terms of size, it's actually fairly compact for the amount of screen you do get. And on the back here, you can see that this has one of those Huawei P20 style backs with the purple and the blue at the bottom. And when you reflect, it looks really, really nice. It does pick up fingerprints like crazy, as you can see. Look at all the fingerprints on the back. It's very visible, and honestly, it doesn't look that great. But that is something that you do have to deal with a phone like this. The back here is not metal. But you do not get wireless charging in this phone either, because that is reserved for the UMiDiGI Z2 Pro and not the actual Z2. And on the back here, you have your dual cameras, you have your fingerprint sensor, your LED flash, and as well as your logo. Of course, we've got no headphone jack, but we do have a USB-C port, and that's about it. You got your buttons on the side and your SIM card slot on the left. And on the front here, as you can see, there are fairly slim bezels. The side bezels are actually not super slim. They are about 3 millimeters thick, 3 to 4 millimeters thick, which honestly doesn't look, it looks okay, but it's not the best I've seen. The top and bottom bezels are good. The bottom bezel here is tiny. You're looking at maybe 4 or 5 millimeters at most. And the top bezel here, there is the notch with all your array of sensors inside. And I've been using it, and to be honest, the more I use it, the more I really like the concept of a notch. Because if you're using an app, so let's open Google Chrome, for example, you'll see that it fills up the entire screen, and then you have your notch at the top for a couple of icons, as well as the time, and I think it's very useful. So I don't see the notch as taking away this little part over here, but I see it as gaining the two side parts on the side of the actual smartphone itself. So I do like it a lot, and I really like notches, so I look forward to a notch in my next phone also. The display here is very good. I really like the display. It looks good. It's an LCD. Colors are very saturated. It's definitely one of the better LCD screens I've seen. I think it looks very, very good. And just look at how nicely saturated the colors are and how detailed the screen is as well. It really makes the pictures come to life. And I think it's a good screen. Look at how detailed those pine needles are and the water droplets. The green is so saturated. I really like the screen, and I think it is a very well-made screen, and I think it's a very high-quality screen as well. But of course, there are some problems, and let me talk about those. So while it's not particularly a problem, the maximum brightness here definitely could be improved. This is the current maximum brightness, so it's not super bright. It is bright enough. I do have a little bit of difficulty seeing this in direct sunlight, but that's not too big of an issue. The minimum brightness is also not too dim, so in pitch darkness, if you're in bed, this thing could, blind your eyes out if you turn it on from pitch darkness. The last thing here is a touchscreen. And the touchscreen here has a very weird issue that I'm fairly certain is software, because right now, look, it's performing perfectly. There's really no problem with it at all. But the problem is, once you place this down on a flat surface, or even if you prop it up, like this, and I'll show you later. Okay, let's put it down on a flat surface first. The touchscreen stops working. Look at that. See, it just doesn't work anymore, and I'm really not sure what is going on. It seems like there's software in this, or maybe it's a glitch, where it disables the touchscreen when you place it on the ground, and it stops moving. So look at this. I'm moving it. I can swipe it fairly well. I put it on the ground. It stops, which is really, really strange. And if you do the same thing, and you can do the same thing with propping it up. So right now, I'm moving it around. It works perfectly fine. Very good. And let's use my Firefly. And we'll prop it like this. It's not on a flat ground, but it won't work either. Look at that. The touchscreen does not work, but once you pick it up like this, bang, it works. Look at that. It's so strange. You put it back down, doesn't work anymore. Oh no, now it works. But you can see it just doesn't work. And then when you pick it back up, it works perfectly, no problem at all. So very strange problem. Obviously not the hardware, obviously the software, so UMiDiGI's got to fix this fast if they want to sell this phone mass market. Let's watch a clip of Who is America by Sacha Baron Cohen, and we'll talk a little bit about the audio that comes out of this phone.
Had a bill put in that would have made it illegal for someone 4 years old to 12 years old to have access to a gun. We killed the bill.
They tried to stop 4-year-old children from having access to guns?
Yes.
What is the logic that these people come up with?
They just think that children can't handle them.
We want 3-year-olds who are real experts at what they're doing, not 3-year-olds who are reckless.
Yeah.
And we don't teach 2-year-olds because they call it the terrible twos for a reason.
There's a reason, yes.
So I would like you to help me do instructional video for 3-year-olds.
So talking about the audio, I would say that this is pretty much, it's a good speaker with the one downside of lacking bass. You know, it sounds fairly clear, it's fairly crisp, it has some good mids and highs, but the bass is a little bit lacking, especially compared to my Smarter Than Not Pro 2, which definitely had not overpowering, but very, very real and natural bass. So that is something that I do miss in this phone, but that's really not that much of a problem because the audio is good, you know, the calls are good, the quality is good, the speakerphone is good. Pretty much everything about the audio here is good except for the bass, but that is something that even I can live with. So I think you can as well, unless you are one of those crazy audiophiles, then in that case, this is not the phone for you. So now let's talk a little bit about the battery life, and the battery life here is a little bit strange. I'm not sure what they're going for. Well, actually, I do think I know what they're going for, but I'm not sure I agree. So let me look at the screenshots. So here we're looking at the battery life and it's 10%, and we've had the last full charge of 10 hours and 22 minutes ago and a screen on time of about 5 hours. Now, that's normally not that good battery life, but the thing is, in this, I played Quiz Up for 2 hours and 32 minutes, and even though it's not that intense a game, it's a surprising battery sucker, and I did play this on data as well and not just Wi-Fi. So it was 2.5 hours of data playing this game, which I think is actually pretty good because that shows that if you're not playing a game, you can bump that screen on time to 7, even 8 hours. However, that was not the case. This is the same ones. It's 6% battery life, and that was an hour later, and you're looking at 5 hours and 17 minutes, so that's fine. But this is the next day. This is 45% battery, and you're looking at 13 hours of full charge. 13 hours of this phone being off the battery. Screen on time of just 1 hour. Like what's going on? I don't understand, because the battery life here is horrible compared to what you have here. I mean, you're looking at 6% and 5 hours with 2.5 hours of gaming while on data. So I don't understand what's going on here. Well, I do, and I will explain it to you. And we'll look at more samples here. We have 31%, 15 hours off the charger, and 2 hours of screen on time. That's a little bit more respectable, and that's something else. And basically what I can say here is that standby battery drain is really not that great. If you're looking at standby battery drain, it's not good. So you're looking at a day maximum. So even if you don't use your phone at all, you're still going to drain the battery quite a bit because of the standby battery drain. And I think this is somewhat similar to what Samsung is trying to do, because if you have a Samsung Galaxy S9 and you have stock everything, you'll notice that no matter how hard you use your phone, every day when you get back home, you'll be looking at approximately the same battery. Like the Samsung Galaxy S9 lasts for a day straight, no matter how hard you use it, actually. I mean, of course, if you go crazy and use like 10 hours of screen on time, you're obviously not going to get to the end of the day. But if you're using it moderately compared to lightly, the battery life is pretty similar. And I think that's what UMiDiGI is trying to do here, in that they're trying to make it so that you can anticipate 1 day of battery life no matter how hard you use the phone. So if you use the phone really hard, you can expect this to, get you until bedtime. But if you don't use the phone hard, they want you to expect that, okay, at the end of the day, I'm going to get the same battery life no matter what happens, which is, I can see the logic behind that, and I think you guys can too. I don't like it personally, and I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments down below about the battery life here, about whether it's a good choice to make it so that the battery life is the same no matter how hard you use the phone at the end of the day, because they want you to be able to expect the same battery life at the same hour no matter how hard you use it. I don't like it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Okay, we're talking about software here. We have Android 8.0, and use is actually pretty good. It's fairly smooth and it's fairly nice to use. I think it's good. Of course, it's slightly not as fast as my Smarter Than Not Pro 2 with the Snapdragon 660, but that is to be expected. But then again, I think this phone is definitely smooth enough for pretty much anyone to use. And of course, let me close all the apps here so you guys can take a look. Clear all. All right, so it does have 6 gigabytes of RAM, so let's see how fast apps launch. So let's choose something easy like Relay. Here, as you can see, it was not that bad. It launched instantly, but it took a little while for the app to actually load. Let's choose Pocket Casts. That was pretty much instant. It took a little bit of time to load completely, but it was still fine. Google Play Music. This one's taking a little bit longer. You're looking at like 2 seconds before it completely goes in. And Google Chrome. And that was actually pretty fast actually, so that's actually not bad. And we'll choose something else. For example, we'll choose QuizUp. This one's it's a well optimized app, but it's still fairly good. So yep, that was actually pretty fast as well. And of course with 6 gigabytes of RAM, I saw no problems at all multitasking also. Alright, so here I'm trying to play PUBG on the cell phone. And as you can see, the frame rates are not super smooth. You can see there's lag here, especially when I'm moving around. It's actually worse than I thought it would be. I am playing on medium settings, not on low settings though, so that could have something to do with it. So we'll see how that works as that goes. But in the meantime, let's dive and see what we can find in this little dump over here. Alright, so here I have no clothing, so we'll go into this house and see what we can find. So it's actually playing a lot smoother now that it's not, going crazy trying to, skydive. But the frame rates are okay. As you can see, I'm horrible with the joysticks. I'm a lot better with mouse and keyboard. And we'll see what we can find here. And we'll see if we can find some people to shoot in the meantime. But let's go back down because now we have a gun. And we can use that to shoot at some people. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad at this. I hate this so much. How do I get down? Ah, there we go. Okay, now that was laborious. There's the door. So let's get out. So I don't see anybody, and this is getting kind of boring. But as you can see, the gameplay here is not bad. So it's pretty much the diving part that's actually pretty bad. But once you're done diving, you can see that it plays fine. If you do want to game on this, that's fine. But I really don't. I don't think this is a pure gaming machine. There are games that are not going to run very well on this machine. So that's something you do have to be aware of. Alright, next let's mess with the fingerprint sensor, and it's super slow. Look at that. That took like a full second. Tap 1,000. Yeah, that was like a full second before it unlocks. As you can see, it actually unlocks pretty fast, so it's the process of turning the phone on that's slowing it down, not the actual fingerprint sensor itself. So when you tap on it, you can feel that it realizes that you're the correct person, but it just takes forever to turn on. So we'll do that, see how long it takes. But if we turn it on first and then we tap, that's pretty much instant. So the fingerprint sensor is fast, but UMiDiGI has to work on the unlock speed of the actual device itself. Alright, now connection with the UMiDiGI Z2 Pro. This thing is a truly global device. If you are anywhere in the world, this thing will work absolutely no problem at all, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, that's something that I've been waiting for a long time, but we have not been able to get it. So let's look at the bands included here. So we have all the required bands for US and Canada, no problem there, and LTE 1 to 5, 7 to 8, 12, 13, 17 to 20, 25, 26, 28, 34, 38, 39, 40, and 41. So that's a lot of network bands, man. And if you're anywhere in the USA, this will work, except for some of those weirdo carriers in USA or Canada. But if you're on any of the major carriers, Verizon, Sprint, so if you're on T-Mobile, AT&T, 100% works. I think Verizon, it'll work sometimes. Sprint, I'm not sure because it's CDMA. But Canada, of course, your 100% compatibility. Not quite sure about Freedom. I think it actually supports Freedom as well. Speeds are good. Wi-Fi is good. Bluetooth is good. Really don't see any problems with the connectivity. In fact, this is one of the big selling points of the UMiDiGI Z2 Pro. It's got insane connectivity. Doesn't matter where you get it, it'll work. Alright, so I've already created a full camera review, and I've praised the camera quite a bit. However, the dual camera here has not been activated. I'm not sure if it's fake or not because I cannot tell, because the software in the in the camera does not allow you to go to portrait mode, which is very strange. See, it has picture in video, no portrait mode, so you cannot actually test whether that camera is real or not. So that is one thing that is a little bit strange, but Pictures are good, so be sure to check out the camera review up above. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the UMiDiGI Z2 Pro? I like this phone a lot to the point of it being my daily driver. And I gotta say that is fairly high praise coming from a reviewer. However, I will not be using this phone as my daily driver forever, mainly because it has no NFC. And that is one thing I've been looking for in a phone for a long time. And I will not use a phone that does not have NFC, and this phone does not. That's why I'm waiting for the UMiDiGI Z2 Pro. I'm super excited for that phone, which is basically this phone with NFC, wireless charging, and a Snapdragon 660. So I really look forward to see how well that phone performs, because if that phone is good, that the UMiDiGI Z2 Pro is going to be my daily driver. But let's come back to the UMiDiGI Z2 for a second. Do I recommend this phone? Now, if you are looking for maximum value for money, this is not the phone for you. The Redmi Note 5 Pro is still the phone for you, and I do have links for that phone in the description down below. The UMiDiGI Z2 Pro, on the other hand, now this is not max value, but I've already received feedback from a couple of people saying that they love the notch and how it looks. And I agree, it looks very good. You know, it looks like an amazing looking phone, and I really like it a lot. However, of course, there's always that problem with the touchscreen, which is a software problem, not a hardware problem. So we'll have to see about that. But in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Be sure to hit that little notification bell to make sure you're notified of any of the latest videos that come out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.